Hello. Hola.
Hola.
It's Aging Grateful. I'm Bobby.
I'm Cedric.
And yes, so today, today's topic. We've been talking about it this morning. Again, our randomness, right? But hopefully this will help some people.
Yeah.
We're talking about Uber.
And is Uber breaking your budget?
Can
Uber break your budget?
Break your
budget?
budget.
Or is it breaking your budget?
Or is it? Yeah. Can it or is it? So, my beloved husband.
Well, I was sitting here looking at the budget, which we do from, day to day sometimes.
Day to day, yes.
And I was trying to figure out, where these extra charges were coming from, because the budget was kind of out of balance for a little, so to speak. And
this is a learning experience for us.
Yeah, it's a learning experience.
Okay.
And I realized that there are Uber charges, and I'm thinking in my head, okay, Uber is fairly inexpensive by leaps and bounds compared to what it is
cheaper
in the U.S.
Cheaper, yes.
And we only take Uber a few times a month, so I'm like, this is crazy. And so we budget $50 a month for Uber.
That is our budget. We do not have a vehicle for those of you who are just joining us on our journey. We do not have a car. So Uber is our mode of transportation. Right. Walking is our mode of transportation. Right. Very rarely do we do a cab, but it's that, and we have not taken the bus as of yet. Right?
Yeah, we still we
need to.
We definitely take the bus.
But in any event, we primarily use Uber. Yes. And so we were calculating what this looks like for us, and tell them what we have found over these past.
So the 3 months, we took 3 months worth of Ubers, and 1 month we took an Uber 6 times for 6 days.
In 1 month.
In 1 month, we took Uber 6 days, and it came out to $105.03. The next month, we took an Uber for 7 days, and it came out to $171.23.
That hurt.
And the next month, we took an Uber for 8 days, and it came out to $127.34. You got to think, when you take a trip, you got to come back. So each trip is usually a round trip, and the tips. And we do tip, but the tips aren't. The tips aren't. I mean, you're looking at the tips; they're like 60 cents, 50 cents, 50 to 60 cents.
Yeah.
A trip on a tip. It's just amazing how these trips add, and they're not expensive trips. I mean, they're like $6, $5, $9. Now, I will say there's a couple trips that were $20, right, each way. And those, what we realize are those tend to be airport trips.
Correct. So when we would go back and forth to the airport for whatever, taking a flight out or what have you, those are the most expensive trips. Now we do live in the downtown area of Puerto Vallarta. So from downtown to the airport is about a 30-minute ride.
Well, it's 30 minutes because of traffic. It's
right.
only about 5 miles.
But usually it's a 30-minute trip.
Like yeah.
It's usually a 30-minute trip.
But I don't think it's necessarily the distance. I think it's because it's a popular destination and they know that you're trying to get on the airplane, so they're going to jack up the price because they're going to say, what are you going to do, not take the plane?
Correct. So yeah, we're just saying that that's probably, those are our prices, and those are where we're seeing the $20. And mind you, we're not doing that every day.
Right. And
we're not taking Ubers a lot
right.
in the month. Like we were saying, somewhere between 6 to 8 days out of a month, we are taking an Uber, and it's adding up. And we budgeted, remember this, we budgeted for $50 a month.
Right.
Now, we know we need to increase our budget for Uber. right?
Yeah.
But not only increase our budget for Uber, because we've talked about this, but look at what we have been doing when we're using the Ubers. Where are we going specifically?
Right.
And for us, we do go to places like Costco,
Yeah.
Sam's Club, this store called Cheddarari. We do go visit family and friends, right? And so those are the places that we are spending the Uber money. This past month, we needed to replace our couch, right? So we went to various stores that were a little further out than where we actually live, and we took Ubers to get to those stores so that we can view these couches. So that also for last month was what took us over with the Uber budget too.
Yeah. It's just amazing how, it's like with everything we're noticing abroad, it's the stuff is so inexpensive that if you splurge on it, air quotes splurge on it, it will add up quick. Because when you're taking an Uber and you're looking at the Uber and you're like, oh, it's only $5 to go to Costco. Okay, cool. Then you got to come back. So that's another $5. So that's $10. Well, it's not a lot of money, right? But if you took 6 of those trips, you're talking $60.
Right.
That's just to one place. So you have to be mindful of where you're going, like we said, and you have to be realistic with the budget. I mean, $50 was kind of, it was like, let's just throw it out there and kind of see where it goes. And that's what we've been doing. We've been kind of okay, let's look at how much we're really spending on Uber. And the thing about it is, when the money is just in the bank and it's in the bank and you have enough to cover it, you take it without really caring, right? Without really thinking about it. Whereas if I said I only have $50 on this bank card, so now I'm gonna be way more conscious when I take an Uber of how much money I have left. So I think that's kind of played into it as well, right?
So we are really focusing on sharing our journey on the budgeting side and on the pre-retirement side as well. That's part of our journey. That's part of our passion, and a part of the reason why we started this channel too is we're trying to help people to retire, plan for retirement, right? While we're planning for retirement and trying to figure that out as well. So budgeting is a part of that. And for us, we are realizing that $50
because
budget of Uber,
I guess here's the question, right? Do we find another method of transportation to bring it down to the $50, or do we adjust the $50 to match the lifestyle that we're doing, right?
So, as an example, because we talked about this earlier, maybe not going to Costco as often, as much. Now, again, granted, it's only 6 to 8 days out of the month that we do these things. But realistically, do we have to? Can we maybe gather what it is that we need, maybe twice a month,
But let me say this, because we talked about this earlier, right? With the Costco, the one of the things that you got to think about, because when not having a vehicle, because a lot of people move abroad, intentional, like we did, we're not having a vehicle where we stay in the center of town
everything,
where we can just walk to everything. But here's the caveat to that. When we go to Costco, we don't have a car, so we can't load up on so much stuff that we can't even carry back. All right, so you loading all this stuff in an Uber, and the Uber's just gonna drop you off at the corner, right where you're getting dropped off at. Now you got all this stuff you trying to get out of the Uber and
to lug up or lug into wherever it is you're staying.
So basically, one person has to stand guard.
Which we have done.
Yeah, one person has to stand guard, and now all your stuff is kind of laid out on the street or the curb or whatever. So these are things that we didn't really consider or even think about. Like, we just go to Costco and it's like, oh man, we're at Costco. We go ham in Costco because we're gonna load up so we don't have to come back over here. And then after we check out, we're like, man, we gotta carry all this stuff in the Uber. We don't have enough bags for all the stuff, so some stuff is loose. Costco,
or it's too big for a bag.
It's too big for a bag. Maybe we have to order an Uber XL because the stuff won't fit in a regular Uber, so that drives up the cost as well. So So what ends up happening is you take more frequent trips
Correct.
to get a little less things of what you can manage as far as getting, back to your place, carrying back to your place.
But playing the other side of the fence, we also discussed the fact that there are a lot of things that maybe we can get within walking distance here.
Yes.
Instead of buying those things at Costco, right? And maybe not buy it in bulk, but buy it as you're needing it if it's every day or every week or whatever the case may be, to also do that. Now, it may not be the brands that you're used to, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that these items and things still do exist, right? Or you may be buying a lesser amount of something. As an example, we talk about all the time. We have a meat market, literally, I'm probably looking at it right now. And we could walk over there as we are needing whatever meat it is for that time frame. We also down the street have a very huge fruiteria, like a fruit market with various fruit vendors and stuff like that, and meat and seafood and tortillas, fresh made tortillas, stuff like that. We could literally wake up in the morning or have determined whatever it is we're going to eat for the next day, get up early in the morning, go walk down there and get these items and bring them back. Instead of going to Costco, putting it in the freezer and thawing it out when you need it. Twofold, you were talking about,
because it's twofold. It's a way to exercise and it's a way to eat locally, right? So you're and I see people all the time every morning going downstairs with their bags and they're going to the market and they come back with their groceries. And I think that serves a purpose of a more healthier lifestyle.
Correct.
We've gotten so used to in the U.S. let me load up and stick it in the freezer so I don't have to go anywhere all week, because it's
it's our mindset.
It's mindset, but it's hectic too. I mean, it's a lot to go to the store and you got to drive. Depending on where you live, you got to drive far to the store and things like that. But the mindset is the reason why we move to a central location is so we have access to the things we can walk to, right? But yet it's hard to get out of the mindset of, well, let me just go to Costco and load up on the stuff. And part of it is, for one thing, now I will say I have determined that the toilet paper and the paper towels, we are definitely getting those from Costco. Because the locals, you can get it locally, but it's so thin. And I know it's that way on purpose, so it'll break down in the sewer system and all that stuff. But it's
and
like
trash, compost,
it's too thin, right? So we do have to go to Costco, and then what happens is, like, oh man, since we're in here, we might as well get this, and this, right? So I think we have to make the more conscious efforts just to go get the toiletries and stuff from Costco, and then just do the, maybe some stuff like I think you mentioned, like the ground turkey and stuff like that you can't get.
Correct.
Down here at the meat markets, but the other stuff is just eat more fruits and vegetables.
Eat more fruits. You heard him. you heard
eat more
him.
Fruits and vegetables locally.
Can I get that on record, please? What did you say?
Eat more fruits and vegetables locally. But here's the thing, though, because that's not really like, we have a budget for food, so it's not going over our food budget, right? So, but it ties back into the Uber trips.
That's a whole nother video.
That's a whole nother video.
Our food budget is a whole nother
But
video.
it ties into the Uber trip, so it's kind of a catch-22. It's kind of a catch-22.
So, in essence, basically what we're saying in this video is there are things that you need to consider, and a budget is fluid, right? It is always evolving, it's always changing, but there needs to be one. And second, we are realizing that though Uber is a very, what we consider a reasonable mode of transportation, it can add up. And it could indeed be one of the things that might be a budget buster unaware.
Right.
Is what we're basically stating, and to take a look at it and have a really good conversation about it. We're not perfect by any means, and we are figuring this thing out, but for us, we are looking at increasing that Uber budget a little bit more, but also being intentional about when we're using the Uber.
Yeah, and that's what I'm about to say, because it's I lost my train of thought. I lost my train of thought. I was gonna say something about Uber, but I just literally lost my train of thought. I was gonna say about the Uber, taking the Ubers.
Okay.
Oh wow, it's still cheaper. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Have a realistic number on your budget when it comes to these line items. Just don't try to do the bare minimum cheapest thing you can find. I think, like we did, is do a realistic baseline for a few months, and then you can kind of get an idea of what it's really costing you opposed to what you think. And it may be cheaper.
It may be cheaper. It may be. But the thing is to have a budget.
Yeah.
Have a budget. We are planning for pre-retirement, right? And these are some of the things that we'll be talking about and sharing as well. We will probably do more of a deep dive
into our actual
budget, but majority, like real deep dive, will probably be on our Patreon account. But we definitely are going to give you the deets here on our YouTube channel for sure, because it's not just us who are planning for retirement. There are a lot more people out there. We're speaking to you guys. We're speaking to you guys that are in that frame of mind and also looking to move abroad, right? Looking to move abroad as an option. So, with that being said, do you have anything else that you want to share?
No.
No?
No.
Love you.
I think we're good. Love you too.
All right, guys. And with that being said,
something looked different about you, though. What happened?
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know.
anyways.
I don't know. Something's different about you too sometimes.
Who knows?
So with that being said, guys, peace to you guys. Let's age grateful. Can we just, we're aging grateful, age grateful. Let's enjoy our journey.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Peace.
Peace.